everyone, Akasha here, and I'm so blessed to be with you here again. And I want to just thank you so much and appreciate you for playing with me, for joining me, for being on this path together. So let me know. There's no sound. Okay, let's see. No sound. Yeah, looks like I have sound. Okay, Lucille has sound. Oh, I'll turn it up a little bit. How's that? That's probably part of it. We did a microphone test today with a whole bunch of different microphones. And we had one coming today. We're trying to determine some of the issues we've had in the last week. How much is the energy? How much is the cosmos? How much is my old computer? Is it the jack? Is it the microphone? And so on. So yeah, let me know if there's an issue. Yay! And okay, so let's dive in. If you're like me, you love stones, you understand, maybe you don't love stones. I've got stones and crystals all over my house, all over me, all over, I don't know, everywhere. But I also always ask my friends if they go somewhere that's really awesome to bring me a stone. But I don't mean like a fancy stone. I mean like pick up a stone off the ground. Somewhere you feel resonant because that stone is a part of that land and it carries the energy of that land. So Kasha here, Nana Kasha, and I want to say hi, Lucille and Ruth and Sylvia and Camel Power now. And hi, Brittany. I was thinking about you yesterday. I was like, she's gone quiet. What's going on? And I was tuning in to see what's going on there. So when we talk about the stones speaking, if you have an affinity to a particular crystal or a particular place that you go, you tune into the earth, the stones or the boulders, there's a rock you actually like to sit on. I found it interesting that the original oracle of Delphi, well, first was in the cave, right? In the womb of Mother Earth, sitting on the rocks, okay? And then it was a huge rock that she sat on top of. It was a big, natural, jagged rock that, because of its location and because of its energy, was the perfect place for her to sit. So why? Because the Native American Lakota Sioux shaman that I studied with told me that they're often called in the native cultures in Americas, I guess, stone people, like the trees are standing people, and everything, I loved it, was alive. So the stone people are altogether an aspect of Gaia, an aspect of Earth. So all stone is related in some way. They're like the same species, okay? Within that, however, we have a lot of different stones, right? So maybe you have an affinity. I love citrine. I got this from a beautiful client who came to the last dolphin retreat. Ooh, it was so wonderful. And I'm a super big fan of obsidian since I've lived here. This is gold obsidian. I'm not sure if you can see the sheen in it. One of the most powerful stones I have ever encountered in a positive way. Not in a positive, well, in a continuously effective, energetic way. It cleanses, clears, protects, literally pulls darkness out, like bruises of the body, of the mind, protects you from your own negativity, your own darkness, your own heaviness, as well as others, and constantly pulling, energies out of your situation. I have it everywhere. So we're also talking about the land, the stone, the boulders. And then you're talking about stone that was used to build a lot of the buildings in ancient times. So I live in the Yucatan, and it's jungle, a few blocks over there, whoop, jungle. And then you have the Mayan villages all throughout the whole peninsula. And the original Mayan had these oval houses built with stones, and you see stone walls, and they're just like any random stone. You pick it up and you put it on top, often not cemented together. So when you take stones from a particular place and you transport that stone, it still has the energy, the wisdom, the knowledge, the medicine, we call it the frequency, right, of that place and its family, right, its quarry that it came from. And what does that mean? Well, how old is this stone, right? We're talking not even prehistoric. We're talking, there had to be stone in order for there to be water, right? So all really an original element. And so a lot of the stone has been here through all of the time that the planet has been changing and evolving. And like where I live, there's these cenotes. They're underground caves with water, pure water. Unbelievable. We go to several of them when you come on a retreat here. And what's fascinating is that the meteor that killed the dolphins, that killed the dinosaurs, landed right out here. I used to live right in front of it. I'm about 20 minutes down the beach now. And I found it so fascinating that when I connect to the land here, I'm heart weaving using some Mayan terms of Mother, I'm here. And I do it when I walk right out onto my property, talking to the plants and the land underneath it, and then I get to the ocean and the sky and the sun and the clouds. Everything is sacred every minute. But then I weave into the water, and pretty soon I'm not just to the water and the codes in the water or whatever purifying, all the aspects of water elements and elementals. So I always acknowledge the mermaids or the sylphs because they're one of my faves, and the dolphins, which are out here, and all the other things that are roaming around out there. And then I go into the land and I connect to the meteor. So the meteor means that that's a piece of rock or stone from another planet. And it not only brought its energy from that planet, whatever that is, but it also traveled through space, right? So it was collecting energies. What did it see? What did it learn? Right? If it's a conscious being, what happened when it broke off or however it was formed and started speeding by itself instead of being in orbit or being a part of a bigger planet? Is that how we feel now? Isn't it interesting to think about if everything is a conscious living being, energy from source, experiencing form from a completely different perspective? So it's even more than the mindset of the people in one country versus another country and so on. It's these completely different ways of thinking and being that we can connect to when we connect to the spirit essence and the spirit guides in all of these. So just like I do here with the Mayan things, I go to the pyramids, minimum once a month. I live near so many of them. And then we'll go a little bit further and maybe stay overnight if we really want to get to some of the bigger sites. I'm walking in the land and talking to the trees because I don't just love the nature, but I want to tap into the wisdom of all of the ancient cultures that lived there. And there were a lot, layer after layer, temple after temple built over, right? So this is what we see. And that was an aha that I had last week while I was, I've been in this vortex of, Greece. I'm like, Greece. Oh yeah, I love Greece. Thought about it a lot when I was a kid. Groovy. No, Greece. And then I immerse myself in it. And now it's like day and night and walking and thinking and dreaming and doing these shows and then channeling. Pan took us to the cave, the original cave of the Oracle yesterday. And that was just wowsville to me. I cannot wait. I cannot believe it. I get to go there in person. Oh, I'm going to touch it. Woo, wah, and hold hands with you if you're there with me. Wow, the magic, the palpable magic there was just beyond belief. And so, of course, all the nature spirits were there, which we all really love and relate to. And so as we've gone through this series, we've talked to different entities that we call gods or goddesses. We've communicated around a different site, like the Oracle of Delphi, and what the history of that is, and what the meaning of that is, being the navel of the world, the center of where Gaia gave us a life, right, umbilical cord, and the source of the original Oracle, who was, right, the person that brought the messages from Gaia to us. And we're ready to awaken and be our own Oracle now. So these places are there. People go them every day. They're bringing their codes. They're collecting codes, whether they know it or not. If they're just walking around talking about lunch and going, oh, that's pretty, take a picture, Marge, let's move on. Or if they're walking and they're just being present to the natural beauty, whatever way that you receive information when you go somewhere like this, you are bringing something. you are receiving something. And sometimes you'll pick up some energies that kick off something. Like a friend of mine broke a toe, and she texted me and said, what happened, like energetically, because I can see through time and space, I guess you could call it, to read people, to look in their energies, and then they start to show me whatever I need to show. And I saw her gliding past an ancient stone fortress, kind of. Very dark stones at the bottom, big stones, you know, like old, really old castles and forts. It seemed like it was near water, but I couldn't see the water. And I said, did you go by an you know, an old place that holds all those energies of torture and misuse of power and, you know, fear and death and whatever, these dungeons? I said, were you in a dungeon? Because she was in Europe. And I said, what? Oh, I went, you know, I canoed or kayaked past this old fort dungeon thing. And I said, well, you picked something up there. Okay, so the energy isn't like, oh no, it was a horrible thing. And maybe she could have avoided or not if she has more conscious use with communication with her light body all the time, every day, to make sure you're protected and surrounded with the light and the love and aligned with your highest good. But let's assume it's for her highest good. It's what happened. So the best thing to do is say, okay, this must be the best thing she needs right now. She broke a toe, and it's been really an incredible journey. And then when we did a session together a couple weeks ago, because a lot of infection and old pain and a lot of these kind of things have been coming up for my students too, is this, like, I thought I was done with this, or I'm so sick of this, I want to be done with this. And it feels very painful. That's what August was about. Oh my goodness, did we go deep. We scooped to the bottom of the ice cream barrel and we got out all that deep shit. And we just came through another full moon. So the stones in your house, crystals or I don't know, stones in your walls, maybe you have stone. I used to live in a limestone house. Several of them actually, and the stones where you've been, where you've walked, like maybe you've gone to Sedona and walked on some of the hikes. Maybe you have some red stones. I have a couple red stones from Sedona. They hold a very specific energy, a very specific medicine, a very specific kind of wisdom that sometimes is not what you want. It can be very sharp, poking you with little knives. And sometimes it's great if you want to be intense, and that particular energy is good for you. So the stones that came through the meteor caused a bubble, you know, heat, massive amounts of heat. It went down in the water, and it caused so much heat that all the stone layers and layers into the earth were melted and started to mix together and bubble up to the surface. So what we live on here with these big limestone caves that are just 300 miles of connected underground rivers, and they all have magic in them. Oh my goodness me, I can't get to enough of them. And so what happens when you're inside of that? Well, if that was mixed with the meteor energy and with energies from stones that are 3 layers deep into Gaia and other energies, and they mix together, they've created something completely different, right? So the energies here have a very unique feeling. And when you come here or anywhere, there's a unique feeling. There's so much light coming through mountains, right? Through the portal of the tip of a mountain. And there may be valleys or glens or like those beautiful big forests, right? Where the sun just comes through in little rays and it's very mossy and fairy-like, you know? And then you'd find round stones, or the beaches in California often have these very round river kind of stones, or river stones coming from rivers. So what is it with? Is it with a certain river in a certain place where people believe a certain thing? If they consider the river sacred, do they make offerings to that river? Therefore, then the stone that lives in that river or around that river would receive that kind of respect. And then when you would go there, you would feel it. So it's quite profound if we get present to our environment and to ourselves and our senses as we walk around, because we're waking up very, very fast. And we can't go, oh, I'm going to take forever to process this. We have to be in it and allow it to process whatever way it is by witnessing and not being the story anymore. And so stones in sacred places that are then taken and built into temples, right? Or homes. Really, the temples are wonderful because they've been used by so many people in a sacred way, that sacredness, that love, that communication, that all of the things that were there, like, oh, I can speak to the goddess of love here. It's her temple, and the belief, and then the miracle healings that are left inscribed into the stones. Then what does that do? The stone has its own energy. It was quarried. So a lot of the ancient Greek temples were made out of marble, beautiful white marble. And so where was it brought from? That's part of the stone energy. Then what's the stone inside? Like, is it solid marble, or are there parts that were lined with marble on the outside? And what other stones were built there? What was the intent when it was built? What was the intent when it was used? How many people came over and over feeling a sense of safety and love and opening their hearts and being willing to just say, please help me. I am ready, right? I'm ready for your energy to assist me. That is an invitation to communicate with the divine, and the divine is already aligned with you. So the sacred stones in the buildings, in the beautiful pillars, right? The pillars really talk a lot, because pillars are representatives of connecting above and below. So when you enter the temple and all the pillars, and you're walking under these enormous pillars, Corinthian or Doric and Ionic, all the beautiful different designs they had in ancient Greece, they each hold a different design. So one has a spiral. Well, now we're bringing spiral energy in. What is that? That's infinity. That's a fractal energy. That's rebirth. That's a cycle of life. That's eternal. That's the Ouroboros. You could go into all the different mystery schools. You can go into all the languages. You can go into every way you want to say it. But what is happening now is that we're coming full circle. And the stones have been waking up. Wow, when did I first start? I think maybe around 10 years ago. And then when I went and did Arkansas, which was about 5 or 6 years ago, they started to show me that the crystals that were used in Atlantis or Lemuria, they're the most famous for that, but there were a lot of crystals used in ancient Egypt, in ancient Maya, in ancient Greece. A lot of things were big stones and crystals, and different semi-precious and precious were encrusted into buildings or altars or different tools. Why? Because they had wisdom, they had power. Like, I would never do anything with anybody without my obsidian, which is on me all the time in several different ways. So those stones have also come together. And so at a particular temple, then you have the intention of the temple. So who was the god it was to? It was the goddess of love, or it was the god of healing or prophecy, Apollo. And then you have the intention and the people and the sacredness. And what I do is I go in only aligned and attuned, and I highly recommend you do something like this as well. We've been burning some copal here to cleanse and clear our connection. And so this is, you're so welcome, Pumpkin. Hi. And so this is so exciting because they used certain crystals. They understood their properties. They built with marble. Why? Well, I want to see what marble has to say today. It's one of the primary temple buildings. And it's watched all this happen, right? It knows everything, like a wise elder that doesn't tell anybody what to do. They just observe. And the land that temples are built on are extremely important because that particular land and however it is made has unique properties, vortex energies, and all different things. If you ever want to go into like the Great Pyramid in Giza, it is built exactly where it is for a reason because of the certain kinds of soils and rocks. And when certain waters would come because it used to flood, then it would go beneath and it was like a rain stick. It would start to play and the frequencies would go and it would turn on certain energies. It was a power plant. And everything. So it's very fun to say we're going to go to the temple and we have to remember Gaia underneath the energies of everything in that area, not just the people, right? What is the weather? What are the traditions? What are the animal spirits? What are the unique fairy spirits? What are the unique nature spirits that are in that area? What is the predominant thing? Is there a lot of a certain kind of bird? Is there a jaguar or a lot of fox? You know, like what is all of the energies that come together that will be part of the wisdom of the stones? So let's dive in. We're going to look at marble and we're going to look at whatever else wants to talk through the stones and see what kind of messages they're bringing us. So we have this beautiful citrine here. This is a new beautiful one for me and I love, love, love to hold her. And also we have a lot of that gold color, the golden healer. This is from Arkansas. It's really quite an exquisite piece. And these are what asks to help us bring forward the sacred stones. And then also we have my stone dolphin. I do not know what this is. I think it's a form of, no, I do know. They make a lot of sinks here out of it. Not alabaster. I'll remember it. It comes in a gazillion different colors. But this is a dolphin recently that I bought for its uniqueness, for my honey, and then came forward and said that it wants to embody the energies of Delphi. The dolphins of Delphi is who we're going to talk to tomorrow. So this is another one of our stones here right now. Okay, let's go over here. So I'm super happy to share that there's a Labor Day sale. And I think most things are up right now. So go pop over to the shop because there's all kinds of goodies and they're only going to be there for 2 days. And then you can play. And all the things that came through was completely intuitively chosen. I was like, what do you want to do? Boom, 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 boom. So I'll have to go look, make sure that everything that came through me is there. And it's you know, little meditations. Everything seems to be around abundance. And that's very relevant for our marble. Okay, so what do we do when we realize that we have, what are we doing here? There we go. So what do we do when we realize that we have the ability to sense, perceive, maybe see or feel or know some kind of clair, and it begins to call and it keeps calling and it won't shut up, and your logical mind keeps saying, I gotta keep going forward, I gotta keep going forward, I have to please this and I have to fulfill this obligation and I have to be what everybody thinks I am. And no, you don't. So what happens when you give yourself that freedom? Well, it's a little bit of chaos, right? Because when you give yourself the freedom to stop being what you thought you needed to be and what everybody else is used to you being, and it isn't anybody's fault, it's just when you stop and realize, what am I doing? I don't want to be over here. I want to be over there. That's where I want to be. So the stones really hold wisdom that's ancient and stable, right? And they're the stone people, and then they're the unique stone people, and then they're the ones that are used for sacred structures, and then within that sacred structure they become the most wise being in the entire structure, which is why ancient people picked certain building styles and symbols and lots of sculptures and reliefs in ancient Greece. And they had this stone that they knew was sacred as well. And when you look at the Acropolis here, you know it's built on a giant rock, okay? It's just, there's the sea and then there's the land, and it's just kind of doing a little gentle hills, and then all of a sudden, boom, out of the middle of nothing, this big thing jutted up. And of course, somebody built something up there. Interesting that most cultures built forts up there, castles to house the one important person and protect themselves from being attacked. And this culture built a sacred temple complex with theaters and all kinds of stuff. So the rock that the Parthenon is on, the Acropolis is on, the stone that is built with all the sacred temples, each of them used for a different reason. There's many temples to Athena, and they're all dedicated to a different aspect of Athena. So she has different names, you know. And then you see this hill behind, in the background, kind of looks like a little pyramid because it goes up to a point. This is a hill that has a lot of history, and we're going to be going up in there to check out places in nature with the rocks and the stones that we can go meditate and do some talking to them. Okay, so here we have a beautiful temple that has been, thankfully, very well preserved, and it is holding that energy that we're talking about. So you can see that some of the stones aren't all that fancy, the sides. So you have an inner layer, and this was most likely then put, you know how we do it now, put layer of marble over the outside of it. And this is the structure. However, this structure stone is just as important, right, as the glamour stone on the outside. And this is tomorrow we're going to talk, and these are the ones we've done so far. Wow, some of these healings were just mind-blowing. Oh, this is better. You can see this better. This picture, you know, big face in the way. So here you can see the rock, and I just want you to run your eyes along underneath the temples and everything, just along from the left to the right, where that very rough, jagged rock is, where that wall, man-made wall, begins. Underneath that. And what's really cool here is that not only, wow, is this a sacred rock, right? Because it's been holding this sacred temple, which has been left and revered, even if it's not used in the same way. And along here are caves all around it that were used as original temples to Athena and to the oracle and to Gaia and to the earth. So we've got the October 1 trip. Come on now. Are you supposed to be holding my hand? There's a few of you. You know, if you make the leap, you will transform. They literally told me the other day, ask who is ready to have a huge leap in their spiritual growth, their consciousness, their everything before Halloween. Then you should come on the Greece trip in October. There isn't any way to replace getting out of your life and going someplace like this, because I'm going to bring through stuff, but you're going to be there connecting to your own stuff. And then next May, we are going to do a longer one. It's going to cost more, and it's going to be from the May 1 to 12, and we're going to include some days on sacred islands. So we will begin similar to this, but we'll be doing more places. So all right, so all of this has been about awakening the magic wherever you go. And the magic in your mission is, you have many missions. You have several missions from you came with your soul. And one of them is to figure out who you are and start to be it and to remember it and to work with the other parts of you. So I want to take you places that are spiritual journeys, calling you back to your soul powers, getting back on your soul path and realigning with your soul purpose, because it's not that you haven't been on purpose, but you haven't been consciously moving towards it. And all those what do I do's and stuck things and everything else starts to melt. So lots of places, lots of retreats, love doing these things all over. And this has truly become a sacred quest. That bringing the sacred circle to these places so we can touch the stones, we can receive the downloads from them, we can bring the love and energy we have. These are what our soul is calling us to. We must help awaken the planet, we must help heal the planet, and all of that means we're healing ourselves as well. So we're going to be in this place. So I want you to look at the stones, okay? So here's what's cool. This is called Sunio, and this is the Temple of Poseidon. And the Temple of Poseidon is, of course, it's made from these stones, and then the marble, some and was here, and then the stone that it's built on. It's on a little, it's kind of the end of a peninsula, right? Looking over this cape, and then you see the stone across the way there, right? And those stones go down into the ocean and connect to each other. So it's really connecting in. And then you have the spirits that have been here. And then you have the fact that every day the sun rises and sets on this temple. It's quite profound. That's some of the energy that's coming into this particular temple. So you may want to just bring that in. I'm going to show more pictures. We're going to tune into each of these places until they want to. My head is expanding and fuzzy and kind of doing some groovy stuff. So we're going to be having some information coming through any minute here. Just let that happen. So one of the things that's been coming through in the Intuition Awakening School is saying that, you know, magic doors are here. And we call them magic doors because you don't believe they're possible, and they can't be bought, and they can't be forced, and they can't be threatened. So we can't rely on or blame any of those things that happen in the world. We have to unplug from that and say the magic doors that are aligned to me, just like those dogs who have a chip in their collar, and when they go up to their dog door, it recognizes the chip and opens the door. This is the way it works. It's only going to open for you. All right. And then we have group souls, soul groups that I will not be the least bit surprised if we have at least one, if not many, past life soul memories, not just individually, but as a group, when you go to these kinds of places. So the magic doors are opening. This is, I went to Greece, well, as a child, I remembered it all. Then I went when I was 9, and this is one of the temples I remember the most from that time. Then I went again a couple more times. The last time was with my ex-husband. And so that's very interesting to think about. I'm extremely excited because I have no stones anymore from Greece. So you know what I'll be bringing home? A little pebble from each and every sacred site. And the messages then can keep streaming. Plus, I bring little stones. Here's a hint and a tip for you to play with stones, work with stones, have them be your BFFs, is bring small little stones, nice stones. Get a bag of semi-precious, you know, polished stones, small little pieces. Bring them with you for energy. You know, you can put them in your bra, your pockets, or your purse for clarity and communication and protection, different things like that. You can tape them to your body. And you can also leave them at these sites because you're now connected to that stone. You've held it. You can put your intention in it. You can put your love in it. You can ask for it to remain a clear and open connection. And you can find a place to leave at these kind of sacred places where nobody will ever find it. So we do that here with the pyramids. We find a little crack and drop it inside to where nobody's going to ever find that. And so this is what I'm planning on doing. One trip we were doing here, I had a bunch of crystal wands I had gotten from the Crystal Man in Arkansas, specially picked out. They were exquisite, and people could buy them at the beginning if they wanted. So most people did. Some people brought their own, and then 2 of them broke. They kind of shattered into a lot of pieces, not little tiny pieces, but they broke up into 5 pieces each or something. So I had all these pieces, and at first I was so disappointed, and then I said, no, there's a reason the stones want to do something like this. They're all part of the whole. They're a hologram, so it's not, I used to be really upset if my crystals got chipped, like the tip of this one has been chipped because my cat knocked it over. And I used to get upset because when I first learned about crystals, they were like, oh, it ruins the integrity of the stone. And now I know that that's not true, and that some of your beat up crystals can be just as powerful, if not more powerful, but they all have a different purpose and energy. So when we go to these sites and we do our activations and we hold our hands and we've talked to the land and we're receiving these messages and we're going in a sacred way, this gives the stone recognition, and it gives the land recognition. And it says that we acknowledge those who came before us, and we acknowledge, and I go only connecting to the light and the love. If there is pain, and there always is, if there's pain or suffering or misused energy, I think we mentioned this earlier, then that is already a part of my intention, my structure. I've been doing shamanic work and energy work and for over 35 years. So now it's time that it just goes to, you enter and you are safe and protected. And even when you do this etherically, like right now, as you're connecting to this beautiful temple, all right, this is a temple that you can reach into its energy. It's captured because of the digital photo. And the stones that are laying down are just as powerful as the ones that have been rebuilt. And the concrete that's built to fill in spots so they could put them back together, it's stone too. It just has a different energy. It's been there a shorter amount of time, but it can tell you some things as well. Right? So when we go, we know that we're entering in reverence. We're having respect for all of these things. And then the profound messages start to come. The healings and the downloads and soul medicine, I call it. So now, the stones are going to bring forward things for you that are a part of your sacred gifts. So this is a corner of one of the temples to Athena, the goddess of wisdom, protection, and strength. And she's completely whole into herself. She was and is the protector of Athens, which would represent all of us, the world. She is watching over us. Now, these are not representatives of hers. These are beautiful goddess kind of maidens that are called Heretids, I think. And again, remember, they're pillars. They're connecting heaven and earth, above and below, within and without, yin and yang. They're like a pillar of light. So like the other pillars we see, they're carrying through their unique stone and intention. So if a temple was built to Apollo or Athena or Zeus or Poseidon, the intention was there from the beginning. They asked, and they'd already been communicating with that entity. They'd already had the intention of it being there. Everything from picking the spot up was done with the energy of that being. So these are holding sacred feminine energy. And they actually had hands that held out. So they all had one hand that was reaching out, holding a small bowl. Take a deep breath in. Let it fill your belly. Straighten your spine. And release it. I am the pillar of light. I am the pillar of light. I am here in ancient Greece. I am here with these sacred stones. I am here inside of this beautiful sphere of light. This sphere protects me through time and space, everywhere I travel, and is aligned with my highest good and what is optimal for me at this time. I'm here for messages. I'm ready and willing to receive. I'm ready and willing to release. I'm ready and willing to review, rewrite, Yes, rewrite what I believe is true for me and my future. Take another deep breath in and bring this one in through your fingertips. Feel your fingertips. Draw the breath in through them, awakening the chakras in the hand and the palm, up the arms and the heart center. Hold it. When you release it, say, I am open and receptive, a clear channel, and connected to those divine energies for my highest power, path, purpose, missions. I accept who I was designed to be. Now sink into your body and you feel complete, taking in these beautiful maidens, this beautiful stone, the symbols that are here, and you begin to tune past what you see. You begin to see it come back to life in true marble. More detail. And now color appears on the stone. Symbols multiply. You can see and sense the belief, the cloud of truth from the mindset, believing and receiving the blessings through these divine beings, through these columns of stone, through the intention of the divine temple of Athena, Nike. I call on the ancient stones of this sacred place, the Acropolis, the giant stone below, from the wisdom in Gaia up through the temples. I tune into the time and the era and the message that is optimal for me, and the sacredness, the powers of healing, wisdom, revelation, creation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We ask for these ancient stones that have witnessed so much over time to come alive within us, bring us a message that will answer the biggest challenges and desires. This is the goddess of victory. It is here, looking out over a cliff, triumphant. The stones hold this energy. They say to understand this temple, this stones, this history, this spot was chosen. It's on the southwest corner. Why? Because the south, the spirit, because the west, where the sun sets every night, bathing us with all the gold as if it was a parade for our victories of that life, showering down on us like a parade of golden confetti made of light and love. Looks out from way up high. And we hold this energy of victory And this isn't a victory over others for triumph, greed, and personal glory, because these beautiful maidens made sure that the divine purpose began here with the divine feminine, bringing down the softness, the beauty, and the love, bringing down the womb of creativity, mixing with the wisdom and the strength. Yes, the power of Athena. She stands victorious always. This is a part of her essence. You've chosen today the message from the victory within, the winged victory, because you have the power now to rise out. Rise above the city, rise above the din, rise above the forest, rise above what you feel embedded in. There is the stone with the rhythm of Gaia. You can feel it coming up, moves in waves up through. And our temple has special stones with special blessings and special inscriptions and special items buried in the corners of the foundation to assure the receiving of this energy. Stones now hold this beautiful divine feminine, and it reattunes you now to the rhythm of the heart, Gaia. That when you are a flowing marble, this is now the marble stone carved into a carotid, allowing all of the energy for victory over your fear. Milky white marble may seem ordinary, yet it holds the extraordinary, taking the shape and being the conduit for these divine feminine energies, these beautiful energies. They're not asking for anything. They are whole. They are complete. They hold it up and they hold the ground. They keep you grounded and flowing. The marble says, "Could you feel that if you are an ordinary stone, you could sculpt yourself into something extraordinary? Do you think that if you saw and felt beauty in whatever way within you, and you embodied it and became the pillar of light from the divine, from your soul, from the field of abundance directly through you, could you now become extraordinary?" Marble, so revered, so widespread. Some marble is a sacred treasure of some country. This marble was not in and of itself divine or unique, other than its beautiful milky white texture. However, the ordinary aspect of marble says you will turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. Now you feel that the lack, or perhaps the stiffness of your mind or your body, maybe the rigidity of your flow of finances or joy, feels restrictive, as if it has become hardened. Yet feel this milky white marble. It is alive, it is filled with wisdom. And it came and married itself with these divine, flowing, feminine energies. And it's giving you an opportunity to receive higher powers, signs from your destiny. As we move through the different cycles of the moon, marble resonates. And even though this stone has very little color, it brings out the greatness. It begins to empower itself. And abundance in all forms begin to take shape in your reality. The power of the stone begins to pulse, and you shed yourself of all indecisiveness, all feelings of not enough, never enough. When is there going to be more? There is no lack here. The abundance keeps flowing through the sacred feminine beings. They begin to dance now. They say there is no place here for lack of self-love. You feel and sense all of the intention that has built in this particular temple. All the prayers, all the rituals, all the gratitude, all the gifts that were brought here on all of the moons, on all of the victories for the city, for the families, and all those who were willing to open themselves, once again rising into their higher powers and being the pillar of light. Will you please remember, no matter how ordinary you feel, you are elegant when you know who you are. You're respected, valued, and desired. You are imbued with sacred energies. If you would treat yourself like this sacred temple, if you would take these energies of respect and love and belief and honoring, that sense of camaraderie, not just with one goddess energy, but with all the sacred feminine. The sacred feminine is where we become the victors. The sacred feminine, because what Did the victors want peace and love and prosperity? The beauty of marble, used in art and ancient architecture, used all throughout this incredible place and this country, all hold that moon energy, that revered energy. And the deeper you go, the more you understand the depth that you hold. Now, free yourself from these pillars. Enter the stones of the temple. Move into the walls of this sacred temple and begin to move through it. Moving through the walls, through the symbols, you feel yourself still powered by your beautiful superpower, that your soul has been now freed from the shackles of believing you are ordinary. You are not, never were, never will be. Marble keeps moving you along. You feel like a milky flow, bringing in sacred energy. Feel all the heart, all the hopes, all the wishes. And you can feel the wishes fulfilled and the gratitude. This temple is filled with the most positive, loving energies. Yes, I can. Yes, I am willing. Yes, I receive. Yes, I acknowledge. Yes, I enjoy. I celebrate. There is no guilt here. It's pure white, like the marble. Moving into the stone, into the central temple. You move through the floors, sensing the different designs, the footsteps, the energies of Gaia as they pulse up from underneath the rock of the Acropolis. Now you see all of these incredible statues. They're all different. They're all marble. This is the shining stone. This is the magical stone. This is the stone of the goddess of love, Aphrodite. No matter where it is used, she is there. Pure love is here. Feel and receive the pure love. Accept your beauty. Decide you're going to receive what pleasures you and enjoy it just because you love it. Victory over your fear of yourself. Victory over fear of your past. Victory over the evil thoughts you carry towards yourself and others. Victory over all belief in lack. This stone now downloads into you. I am a talisman. I am a magical being. I am lunar energy. I am higher power. When the new moon is dark, I shine. I remove the energies so that all is transparent. There is fire and air here. There's earth and there's water. Yet I embody the yin, stone, water, energy. Now you become a marble chalice. Embody the energies, you feel those with great sacred wisdom, beautiful hearts holding you, drinking from you. Feel the respect and love with which you were touched, respected, seen, valued. You become a marble statue. Whatever it is unique to you. The downloading healing energy, the heart and the belly, the throat, releasing stress, calming anxiety, bringing beautiful, peaceful sleep. Now you walk out of the stone and you stand in the temple. You look around, feel the energy of the marble and the other stones. See and sense everything vibrating with its own unique power. You feel that you are protected from all negativity and you are polarized, a huge magnet, the positive, optimal, abundant energies that are optimal for your soul's path. Receive these and open your heart with gratitude, grace. Feel the marble releasing all anger, releasing all blame, draining away any energies that you hold on to of not fair, not enough. And trust begins to fill your bones and your belly, your mind and your heart. Medicine and magic, the shining stone, the goddess stone, the stone of love, will help you bring more love to your body, your life, to all the parts of you that are lonely, and permanently preserve it. Dedicate a candle to the marble, a candle to Athena, Nike, goddess of victory. Breathe in all those energies and accept them down to your very cells, your belly and your toes. And light a candle to the sacred feminine. Now light one more candle here before you leave this sacred place. This is a temple, and this is you. Light a candle. See yourself as a sacred temple, supported with this love in your pillars, marble, supported through the sculptures of the divine energy that support you. Feel the solidity, the magic, protection. Feel the moon above the Parthenon. Relax, turn this moment, bring this wisdom back into the moment. Ready, open your eyes. If you see this temple that we went to and became on the left hand side of the moon. Parthenon, the large temple to Athena, and the small temple side with that beautiful portal, divine feminine pillars, is the temple of Athena, specific aspect of her for victory. I had no idea we were going to go there. I didn't just roll along and see what comes through, and that seems so powerful and so beautiful. I feel deep, deep gratitude for this. Thank you to Athena and to all the sacred feminine energies, and to the marble, and to all the stones, and to the Acropolis, and to all those who built these and used these. We ask that free the light and the love and the wisdom here. And we ask to release the pain and the fear and the anger and all the dark energies that may have been imbued here at any time or place, and allow them to be returned to Gaia with grace and ease. This is so. May this circle be open yet unbroken. And this beautiful victory, beautiful divine energy that we've embodied, this stone, walk with us now until our communication, connection, I receive the medicine that is optimal for my soul, and I'm ready to awaken the magic within me and the world. And so it is. Ooh, beautiful. I can always just go and play with these energies for a while. I found that to be incredible that we went to that particular temple, and the divine sacred feminine energy has come through many, many times, talking about this awakening in Greece that's calling us to please come in a sacred way, to walk these sites, to bring our hearts, to bring our codes, and to change our lives in a dramatic way. I could have said no every step of the way. I have a lot of reasons in my life why this is not the optimal moment and the optimal time for my family or anything else. So I have taken this leap extremely to heart. I've walked weeks of deep, deep listening and insight, and allowing these energies to rise up to communicate to me and through me has been a deep, deep honor, because it awakens within me not just a memory or a past life or a power that I might have had that I now know I can start to develop again and reconnect to, but the idea that we're all here together, that all of my lives in my soul and all of you and your lives in your soul, and every single person and every single being embodying anything on this planet is in the middle of this metamorphosis and breakdown. And things are changing, they're never going back. We have to stop acting the way we were, and we have to start stepping out and into that life that is there. So what an honor that it is that you're here with me on these lives. that you're willing to contribute to this. I have deep respect for you. Thank you so much. Download this. Is such a beautiful photo. It's just, I'm going to give you a few more perspectives because you probably had your eyes closed. So we were here, we stopped here and went into this temple. So let me show you this temple in Athens. It is on the top of this. This is one of the hotels. And this is a view from above. And you can see on the other side of the Parthenon, the small temple. That's really the only other full building you can see from this perspective is the temple. And like I said, it was on a particular corner and looked out over a particular direction. And you can see it looked out over ancient Athens as well as Athens and modern Athens. And that idea of victory, being up on this incredible hill and not needing protection, but like running to the top of the hill and then stopping and looking and being like, totally stuck it. Totally stuck it. We're going to do this when we're there. We're going to totally go suck up. We're going to go totally enjoy the energy of this victory temple. This is a bigger view than the one that you saw before, which was just the corner. So you can see that all of these beautiful goddess pillars of light that we now know more about. Now, these aren't the originals. Originals are in the museum, which we will go inside and be able to vibe with them. However, the fact that they made the replicas and put them here is really wonderful to be able to get this, and we can totally tune in through that because it is built in the same energy. And you might have really tuned in since we were on the Acropolis. That's the huge rock that sticks up in the center of Athens. And you can see here some of the rock, the more rustic rock that goes on the inner part of some of the walls and things here. Walking around on it, we were tuning into the energy that was coming up from Gaia all the way through this rock, which has done since the beginning of time when this rock began. So there you can see the rock, the temples, and the Parthenon. I think it's this one on the right up there. And you can see it from here. I believe this is the Temple of Zeus. So there's more stones. They're all connected through the same ground. So here's a really beautiful picture I received from a client of mine. Some of her relatives were just there. And so she shared some pictures with me. And here's a nice, beautiful pano where you can see the temple that we were straight ahead. The small temple across there is the one that we were becoming a part of today. This is the theater right on the side of the Acropolis, right down below, on the other side actually from that temple, but these are all pictures of these places. This is a little more of the Temple of Zeus. These are all from the Acropolis, the Parthenon. This one in the center is actually the goddess Iris of the rainbow. They had the friezes, you know, they had this big pyramid shaped on the front of the temples that they filled with sculptures, stories. This is one of them. Iris, and over here, Zeus. So here you can see the Acropolis over there, that pointed pyramid hill I told you about over there. And this is from the roof of the hotel we're going to be at the last 2 days. Well, we have 2 different hotels similar to this. So pretty nice. But there you can see the temple. There's the Acropolis and the temple on the far left of that Acropolis before the other hill goes up where you were today. Is again lit up. Wonderful, my loves. So we're going to go ahead and close that circle, and tomorrow we're going to meet. And what are we going to do tomorrow? We're going to talk to the dolphins of Delphi. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then the dolphins are wanting to speak. So we're going to continue moving forward with more dolphins, maybe from from Greece, maybe from over here. So if you're interested in the December retreat or the March retreat with the dolphins and the Mayan pyramids and ceremonies, let me know. And if you're interested in coming to Greece, either now would be good. Please come and contact me. And also we do have one coming in. So all of these are available to you. They all have some kind of healing. All right. Namaste, my loves. Have a beautiful and blessed day. I don't know what I do. I move around, I think. And thank you. Thank you for being a beautiful touchstone for me. Oh, you're so welcome, honey. I'm Marnie Lucille. I'm still feeling the pain in your leg. Ah, Brittany's alchemizing. I'm still quiet as I embrace the shifts within, awaiting patiently the changes outside. Yeah, you have to ride that emotional wave. That's what I've been doing. Ride it, but don't believe it. Watch it and feel it, but don't believe it. Don't be it. And then, wow, suddenly you're delivered up onto the beach and you stand up and you go, oh, not only am I over that wave of fear, and now I got to rush before fear comes again, it's not there ever again at that level. Thank you so much for inviting us into the sacred space together. Well, thank you. I so appreciate you, peaceful, positive music. And Dawn, hi Dawn. I found this just as the meditation started. This was beautiful. Thank you so much. Very powerful. Oh, you're so welcome. It was wonderful. I'm going to have to listen again because I really had no idea how it was going to work. And I talk to stones all the time. So I'm like, I don't know, a million different ways this can come through. But I love to let it be organic. And you all beautiful people were a part of it. So, and Marnie said, thanks. Your love and skills and gifts blow me away. I mean so much to me. Oh, thank you, baby. Ooh, dolphins and hearts. Ooh. Hey, Lucille, why don't you come with? Ooh, let's go play. Play with dolphins. Okay, everybody, namaste, and thank you so much. And don't forget, we have a sale in the shop of a bunch of goodies all about your prosperity and abundance. And I hope I'll see you tomorrow.